Hello, welcome to Paxton Road TV. I'm Sam Spurs for life, and this is your Paxton Road TV reaction show for that game you've just watched and witnessed. If you watched it to the end, some of you probably not. Man United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 0. A terrible performance, a terrible result, but Man United deserved it, fully deserved it. Can't say any more than that, but we'll get into this a little bit more with my guests in the house, as always. Sean Hotspur, Herbie 61. Sid Spurs, welcome, gentlemen. Where shall we start? Well, let me start. Let me just say my bit. Get on with this. It was always going to be a tough ask to go to Old Trafford. I knew that. Said it in the preview. I knew it was going to be. I thought we played better than that. Don't get me wrong. We didn't play well. We allowed them tactically again. 20 minutes into the game, I thought, yeah, we're in control of this. The three in midfield looked like it could work. We had Basuma, just plugging them gaps. Man United looked like they weren't going to press too high. They dropped off us, allowed us to have comfortable possession. We didn't do anything with it. I don't remember De Gea making much saves in that first 20 minutes. Then they said, these guys are not really doing it. It seemed as if they said that we're not really doing much. We're not doing much in possession. They upped the tempo. They just pressed on us a bit more. Our passing was woeful. Players who I expect to be comfortable in possession were getting harassed and harangued. Martinez had Harry Kane in his pocket all night. He's the shortest player on the pitch, probably the shortest player in the ground. And he had Harry Kane on toast, basically. Him and Varane played really well in their defence. Casemiro, again, we just seem to lack legs in midfield, which, again, given Casemiro, Fred, who else is in their midfield? Fernandes. That was their free midfield that made up. And then they had their three players up top. Anthony was a handful. Marcus Rashford just was a speed merchant. And as soon as he started to... That's what happened. As soon as he started to stretch us, one time they played the ball in where, what's his name? Fred played him in. We got scared. We started to drop back. And then all the possession was in front. We have to have a nip away. We can't just be playing through Harry Kane. That's what it was today. Son had a poor game. Blah, blah, blah. We can go through the whole team. I don't know what else I can say about that, but I hope it's a bad day at the office. I hope that we can bounce back from that. But it's worrying when you see the performances of some of the players under pressure when a situation where we tactically got free in midfield. We should be able to control, as we did in that first 20 minutes throughout the game. We shouldn't allow them to just press us. We've seen that blueprint. I thought we kind of got over that a little bit, but it's back. Sid, I know you got a lot to say. What do you want to say?
You know what? I was so confident yesterday, right? What fool I was, because this narrative about, we've got a shit record there, we go there, we don't. You know what? I'm getting sick and tired of it. Stamford Bridge, Arsenal's ground, Old Trafford. Bloody hell. Teams are going to Old Trafford, the Brightons and the other teams below us, not as good as us. They're going to play the game, play the team. We, every season, every time one of the big boys, we go and play the occasion and we just don't turn up. And I'm getting sick of it, sick of it, because for fuck's sake, turn up to the game. Passing was atrocious today. Simple passing that you couldn't do. We've all been screaming for this 3-5-2 formation. Yes, you played the 3-5-2, but you might as well have played 12 defenders, because that 3-5-2 just did not work. Every time they attacked us, we had about 8 or 9 players defending. They had 4 or 5 players, and they managed to get the ball into the area somehow, have a shot, or do whatever. Our passing, everything was just shite, absolute shite. Like you said, Martinez had Kane in his pocket. Son didn't turn up again. For me, I know people have been banging on about it now and then about Lloris, but you've got to give Hugo Lloris massive credit tonight, because he made some top saves and he saved us from a proper embarrassment today. And I think you said at the beginning, Sam, we played a little bit all right, and then they turned up and they just went, they're sitting back. No, they looked around and there was a massive board that said, it's only Tottenham, and they started playing. It was an embarrassment. I'm telling you that now.
It wasn't a good performance. We can say that. I'm going to give Man United a bit more credit for them up in their game, because we've seen that, this season they've been wiped the floor, and they've turned up in the big matches, beat Arsenal, beat Liverpool, beaten us. You know, they are a team who've got players in there. They didn't even bring Ronaldo on. He's stormed off down at 89 minutes because he's had enough. Yeah. But they've got troubles ahead of them. That's their issue. But to be fair to Ten Hag, he's a strong man. He's not caving to that. So I have to give him massive respect for his tactical nous that he showed today. All he's done, he's not played with any sort of real, you know, cohesiveness, I would say. When they got the ball, I expect players to be good on the ball. You know, this is the Premier League. They're at home. But what he did do tactically was they were on the front foot. So even when we beat that first press, they took the risk on their defenders would then step up. They didn't step off. They stepped on, which meant that we always had pressure on the ball. So even when Bentancur or Højbjerg got past one of their men, Varane was on top of them. Casemiro was on top of them. Martinez was on top of them. That's what the difference was. We didn't show that same sort of desire. Sean, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Ten Hag. I think he didn't buy the narrative that Conte was trying to sell in the press conference yesterday, and where he said it was, you know, he kept talking 3-4-3, and we all expected him to play 3-4-3. I kind of saw them more as a 4-5-1 United, and they swamped us. You know, I mean, we actually upped the number of players in midfield, but I didn't see us playing 3-5-2. I saw us playing 5-3-2.
Exactly.
And it was, you know, and we were overwhelmed in midfield. And we, you know,
again,
as
overwhelmed said, in midfield again, Sean. This is the point. Again.
But it was you know, we just couldn't retain the ball, you know, and you know, there was only one winner tonight, and that was Man United. We were you know, as Tom was saying there, inexcusable for that performance tonight. Too many of our players just played like strangers. I mean, there was one pass I saw, particularly from, I think it was in the second half, from Doherty to Bentancur, and it was the worst pass I've ever seen in my life. There was no pressure on him.
Sean, it was a simple pass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Simple pass.
And we couldn't do it. Shocking levels. No one emerged out of any credit. First goal was on Dyer for that ridiculous chest pass, which, you know, it just put the defense under pressure. And, you know, I mean, it did take a heavy deflection, but I mean, that was probably the only way we were going to beat Paris tonight, was with a deflection, you know. But it was a very bad day at the office, and I don't know how Conte's going to explain that one. Might be interesting to see his comments in the press conference afterwards.
Well, let's look at it. I look at it from both sides. I look at it from the performance of the players, performance of the manager in terms of the tactics. Did he get the tactics right tonight? No. I think in that first 20 minutes, it looked like we had control. And when I say control, we had the ball, but we were allowed to have the ball. If you watch that first 20 minutes, Man United never really pressed us in our half. They allowed us to come over the halfway line, and then they put a little bit of pressure on. I didn't once see us try, you know, some threaded balls behind their lines. We didn't do that. Every time the ball was going into Kane's feet, Martinez was right up his arse. If that's going to be the case, you have to play balls over the top. You have to play balls that's going to stretch them. You can't keep just playing in and expecting Kane to work his magic, turn players, beat him, and then thread the balls through. If he's not been able to do that, there is no other outlet. So what you can do is you can do give and goes, play it into him, play a 1-2, you know, quick play in and around the final third. We never play quickly in and around the final third. There's no quick passing. There's no interchange. You might see it sporadically, but you don't see it consistently. What you've got to do is you've got to be creative around that final third. You have to be creative. You can't be just obvious. We were so obvious. It's either going to go into Kane, Kane's going to then try and spin, and Son's going to run him behind, or Doherty's going to run off the right-hand side, or wherever he's going to... That's obvious. Sometimes give it into him, play it back, Bentancur, play the ball over the top, get runners from midfield, making bursting runs. If you're playing a 1 and a 2 in front, we have to have a midfield joining the play and going beyond. None of that happened today. And Manchester United just said, hold on, they're not doing that much. Let us just put 5% more effort and let's see what happens. Job done. It was a real individual performances today. I don't know. What was you thinking of Lloris, man of the match? Obviously for us. But is there any more credit to be given to any more of these players?
No.
And the manager. Let's talk about the manager
No.
as well. You can't make substitutions at that late in the game as well when you're chasing the game. Make no sense to me. Don't make no sense.
3-5-2, everyone thought, you know what, that's going to be good. It's going to be attacking, play 3 in the middle, put 1 to sit and 2 in front, or 2 to sit, 1 in front. Hell, did we not realize he was going to play 3 in the middle, but 5 at all of them at the back, like Sean said at the beginning, And what you were just saying, Sam, for Kane to be up top, there was nobody ever between him and the middle of the park because they're all that far back. Even if the ball was sent to him, he couldn't do it. Whatever he tried to do, there's no one running on at all. I mean, the midfield never existed in terms of going forward. It was always backwards. I mean, we're the only ones that can make people like Fred look world class. Yeah.
That's 2 games in a row at Old Trafford that we've made him look like a worldie.
Players that can't score or playing rubbish always end up scoring against us, having worldies against us. Martinez as well, like you said, had Kane in his pocket. I thought Perisic wasn't that good as well, and I've said it alone. I've said it a few times now. I don't think personally myself, Perisic is a Prem player. I don't think he's gonna hit that standards that he's hit at Inter Milan and other places. Correct me if I'm wrong. Perisic can correct me if I'm wrong by the end of the season, but I'm not seeing it with Perisic, to be fair. And I think the rest of them, I think Romero and Dyer as well. Romero, I think, since he's come back from injury, he's not the same player for me. He's again, a few times, the way he just run out and just rushed tackles, he got lucky not getting booked. Son's having another stinker again. I don't think Son's had a decent game so far this season, apart from the 20 minutes against Leicester. I can go on all day. I'm that vexed. I'm that pissed off tonight with that performance, right? I'm not joking. And I've even tweeted Tottenham to thank them for making me unsuccessful for the tickets for the away application. Thank you very much for that, because you saved me from going all the way up north to watch that shower of shite tonight. It's embarrassing. And I tell you what, I just hope that they turn up against Newcastle, because Newcastle aren't looking shit, mate. They're looking decent.
Listen, before I come back to you, Sean, let's just bring it all back together. That's, I think, 2 defeats in 16 in the Premier League, going back obviously to the back end of last season. So when you put it into the wider context, it's 2 defeats in 16. That's not a bad record at all. If you look back at that, that's still, that's a lot of points that we've. But what I will say is, this season we haven't, apart from that Southampton game, and there's been probably a couple of halves here and there, we've never really controlled a game from start to finish. Now, I don't expect you to do 90 minutes of control, but certainly to have superior possession, superior passing, superior possession of the ball, retaining the ball. I don't think we've done that too often. And that is what we've talked about, is always going to catch up with you when you don't get the goal. When we don't score that first goal, everything has to change for us. We didn't change that way of playing. Even when that first goal, even when the second goal went in, we never changed how we were going to approach the game. Yeah, players run around a little bit more. But I noticed something today. Bentancur looked a little bit sluggish. Not I'm saying he's tired, but again, these players mentally get drained when you play game after game after game. And when you're playing a team like Man United, you have to play the occasion as well. I don't care what anybody says. Old Trafford has been that place for 30-odd years. If you can go back into 70s, 60s and water, Man United is Man United. There's always going to be that about it. So players have to be able to stand up for it. Conte is going to be absolutely furious with these players tonight. But I'm also going to give him some blame, because you got to give these players help as well. You got to help these players out. He's micromanaging on the sideline. Sometimes you just got to let some of these players who are creative create. It was all too much through Kane. I knew what we were going to do all the time, and that can't be good for us long term, because we have got to have, as we talked about in a group, a plan A and a plan B and even a plan C. Sean, if you looked at this in isolation and you didn't look at, if you didn't look at the rest of the games that we played, would you be expecting this type of performance from Spurs? I know where we are in the league, and I know what Man United have had this season, but again, I've seen many, many games, as you have, at Old Trafford, and it's pretty much like this.
Yeah, I mean, I was full of it last night, saying that we need to put this stuff behind us, but there does seem to be that mental barrier again tonight. I was just reflecting on what you were saying about Bentancur. Bentancur actually had a poor game against United in the corresponding fixture last year as well. And I wonder whether that's he's been infected with the kind of it's Old Trafford, Manchester United. The fact is that United are not the same team that they were, but we allowed them to dominate from, I'd say, from about 10 minutes inwards. I mean, I thought we started okay, but so weak in possession, so weak in passing. You just gave them the encouragement to move 10 yards further up, get closer to our attackers, and we were just not at it tonight. And as I say, we never played 3-5-2. We played 5-3-2, and they've played 4-5-1. Rashford was effectively, the only one that was playing very forward, and they just spread us, and we had no answer for it. And we have to look at Conte. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The two major injuries for us didn't help. There was no option from the bench really. But again, it looked like a substitution to prevent a slaughtering. He was just trying to contain the score at 2-0 rather than actually change the game. If there's any slight silver lining tonight was, I think I saw something in Spence. I think he looks, he looks like he could be a player. He's
a player. But yeah. Sean, let's have a talk about this, because this is 2 games on the trot where Conte's brought this guy on. The one against, obviously, when we played against Everton, we were in a winning situation, but you give him a 2-minute cameo, 3-minute cameo with 90 minutes. We're losing this game 2-0. He brings him on 88 minutes. Now, what's that going to do for the confidence? Now, I know what you're saying, and I hope that this player can just look at it as a positive that he's actually getting on the pitch. But had we had somebody on the pitch that had some running intent in terms of running at players, just committing them. Luke Shaw's not the best left back in the world. Well, he's never been the best left back in the world for me anyway, but he's not at the level he used to be, but he's combative. What he does, he'll compete. He will match you for your energy. What anybody says about Luke Shaw's ability on the ball, he will match you for energy. But someone run at him, he's going to panic him. He's going to make mistakes. Dalot is the same one. He was very good, by the way. Dalot was very good on that right-hand side for Man United. Not going to take the credit away from him from that perspective. But nobody really tested him. Like you were saying, Sid, when we have a 3 across the front, maybe someone might have played a little bit wider and tested him a little bit more. I expect Perisic should do more on that left-hand side. Yeah, he can jink in the right and go on his left or cut in on his right. But again, it looked a lot too obvious. If he's going to come in, all Man United did was just flood that area. If he's going to come in. If he was going to go on the outside, they backed themselves to beat them one-on-one. And they did that most times. We have to take more opportunities to do that one-on-one. This is where Spence would come in for me, because he's definitely going to be more attacking than Emerson, though he just wasn't at that level tonight. And I guess that shows where he actually is. Although he was trying to get in positions, he's not at that level where I would say, yeah, he's going to make a real difference here. So it's all about the next game. What else? What else could you say about today's performance? About these guys just Old Trafford is what I'll say. Old Trafford.
The stat that was quite damning that the commentator kept repeating ad infinitum, which maybe want to turn the blooming sound off, was that the teams that we beat are in a lot of parts of the table.
Yep.
And we haven't. We've not really put. When it's come to the big games, the teams around us, we haven't shown. And we've got Newcastle and Liverpool to come in the next league, in the next 2 league games.
Yeah,
I cannot believe that we play with such little conviction. I thought we turned that corner, but no, I don't know. It's all I can hope is that there's a reaction come Sunday.
Well, listen. We've got players in that midfield that can be changed. We can change the starting 11 in a sense from a midfield perspective. We've got Skip to come back in there. You know, we can make alterations. You can give Benton rest. You can bring some if you want to play 3. If you play 2, you can then maybe have options. I think what's hurting us, and it's clear now, is we miss Kulusevski from a creativity point of view more than I ever thought we would miss anybody, because he doesn't play through Kane. If you watch him, he plays the game in such a way that he can create things. His little threaded balls that he does is spot on, but we don't seem to have that from anybody else that does that little ball where that's just that. And he'll also beat his man, and he'll also cut in, and he'll also have a very good goal threat. We don't have that at this moment in time. Son is looking like he just needs to get to a point where he can go away and have this World Cup. Is he in the World Cup this season? Yeah,
he is. Yeah.
So I think some players, I'm brutally honest with you, some players look like they're almost playing just to get to that point. You know, I hate to say it, but he looks like one of them players, because when he played for South Korea over that international break, he was phenomenal. He was absolutely phenomenal in the games I've seen. Different context, I know. But yeah, what do you think about Son's performance tonight, Sid?
Mate, I think it was shocking. Maybe because of the 3-5-2 system. I don't know whether it worked or not. But every time he got the ball, not running at players, even a simple pass, sometimes it didn't work for him. He lost the ball as well. Ball wasn't sticking. But it wasn't just today. He's not, like I said earlier, he's not had a good season at all. He's been poor. Yeah. And the problem, the problem is he's not getting dropped because there isn't anyone else. And everyone keeps saying, oh, he's going to have his good game. He's going to have his good game. With 11 games in now, and he's had 20 minutes of a decent game so far this season. At what point is he going to actually turn up to games? You know, I'm not talking big games. I'm talking other games. The Fulhams, for Southamptons and Brightons and whatever. Kane's not turned up in a lot of games, but Kane, he scored 6 in a row, which is his good thing. Today, I think he had a poor game. Nothing much happened. Maybe again the systems to blame or whatever, but all this counter-attacking football and all this, and I said it on the group from the beginning, the way we were defending 8 against 4 and whatever, and they kept winning the ball, everybody was just, you got players marking spaces and balls, not players marking Man United players. I think there was one in the second half where Højbjerg and is it Bentancur went for the same ball.
Yeah, Højbjerg and Basuma. Højbjerg and Basuma went for the same ball. Both missed it, and then they were on for another attack.
Exactly. And I'm like, what am I watching?
That was Spurs all night.
This is it. And I thought, what am I watching here? This is, you know what? This is like you're watching a comedy sketch or something. It's poor. And it's not just today. I think we've seen it in the Champions League. We've seen it. You've seen it, Sean. Sam, you've been to the games at home. I've not been to a game and I've really enjoyed a game and I've, gone home thinking, wow, what a performance. I ain't seen that at all. And the worrying thing is, it's not getting better. And like Sean just said, we've got Newcastle, we've got Liverpool. Liverpool have just won 2 back-to-back. If we lose to Newcastle and then Liverpool beat us, Liverpool are going to be 1 point behind us from being like 12, 13 points behind us in a matter of 2 weeks, So they've got to wake up and smell the salt, because simple passing, grassroots football today, simple pass they couldn't even achieve today. And yes, it's at Old Trafford. Yes, it's Manchester United. This Manchester United team ain't the best at the moment. Last season, we was on a roll. We went to Old Trafford and we were so confident, and Ronaldo battered us with a hat-trick. Same again today. Yesterday, I was so confident. I think Sean was quite confident as well. You said it was going to be a draw. But this United team should not be beating us with how we've been playing. But they found us out today. It's just proved all season how poor we've been. And today, it should have been a rout. It should have been 5 or 6. And I'm not lying. We got away with murder today.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to come to you next. The way we played today, even if we'd have scored the first goal, which is always crucial in a game like this, Man United, if they score the first goal and they go in at halftime leading, they never usually lose. Man United, when they score first, they never usually lose. But I thought if we'd have scored first today, I don't even think we'd have won that game, because the way we were passing the ball, the way, and this comment here from Goodbeats that was shocking, the midfield was not connected to all with the forwards, creativity from the which was not there in the game. We need to forget quick. He's right. We had no connection anywhere through the pitch. We tried to keep playing that same ball. Basuma, as much as I've raved about this guy, I don't remember, it was one and then we're 2-0 down. When he was really trying to carry the ball forward, all he's doing is receiving from the centre backs, give back to the centre backs, receiving from the centre backs, maybe popping off to a wing back. He didn't receive the ball too many times. Half turn, right, I'm going to drive with this ball 10, 15, 20 yards. You've got to carry the ball up the pitch. If you just keep the ball there, you're asking for mistakes. Defensively, some of our players, when we're under a lot of extreme pressure, they give the ball away. We gave the ball away so many times in our own half. It's unforgivable. But that can easily be corrected. It can easily be corrected. Sometimes you might play a little bit long. Sometimes you play into the channels for our wing backs who will get the one-on-ones. They're not those wing backs. Perisic today was not good enough in that wide area to go chasing things. Doherty isn't that athlete to go doing that. This is what I'm saying about someone like Spence. Spence and Sessegnon today, I think, if looking back now with hindsight, which is a great thing to have, should have been the two because they give you that athleticism. Because that's all that Dalot gave you today, and that's all that Luke Shaw gave you, a little bit more athleticism because they pressed and they were willing to work. If you don't have the talent to be creative in those areas, you have to work back and forwards, but with gusto. I reckon Spence, given that opportunity, would have done a little bit more. I don't know. But Sessegnon, Perisic played 2 games in a row. He started the last game. That again, we're maybe looking at things like that. What would you say about Conte's performance tonight, Sean, from all that? In all of that?
It was not good. I mean, he was forced to pick that formation, but he never played in that formation from the off. You know, I mean, as you said, there was. Well, I thought for the first few minutes we seemed to have a measure of control, but soon the passing just degenerated into just conceding the ball, as you say, sometimes on the edge of our own box. At least on the halfway line, sometimes even further. And I think it's just awful to think that we, in the big games this season, we haven't done it. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm certainly I'm detecting that there's going to be a meltdown on Twitter tomorrow. It might be a good place to hide my phone under my bed tomorrow.
Oh, there's going to be a meltdown.
Yeah, I think there's very little positive I can say. We are starting to look like we're talking about 7 teams in contention for the 4 places. We're looking like the 7th team, and that's shocking because this is a team that have been built on, have been building together. They know the system, but they just didn't play it tonight, and I was disappointed. I think Bissouma didn't showed why Conte's been a bit reluctant to use him tonight. Yeah. He was not the player that we expected or the player that we saw at Brighton.
But do you not think that Conte has this effect on players because of the way he manages, because of the way his man management skills are? He's very blunt, he's very direct. I don't know how he is he has his favourites, we know that. When he sees Son, you can see in training, he loves them Harry Kane. I think with some of these players, particularly the newer players that he maybe doesn't necessarily trust because he hasn't had them enough time, I don't see him as being that manager that goes around and puts his arm around his shoulder and says, listen, don't worry about it, it's all good, and give them that, puff the chest up. We've seen that with Steven Bergwijn, so we've seen this happen in the past with players who are not quite at the level that he wants them to. I'm not saying he gives them the cold shoulder, but I don't think he's the most warm and embracing manager. You've got some managers, let's say a Harry Redknapp. Harry Redknapp's a prime example of a man, tactically didn't have the most tactical ability, but what he did is he made sure every player knew their worth. He made sure he'd go around, blah, 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 did all that sort of stuff. We need some of that from Conte. I need to see some of that. And he's done that in a couple of press conferences, but I almost think begrudgingly, because he's asked the questions about these players. He's asked about Bissouma. He's asked about Spence constantly. So I think he's now come out and said, maybe I've got to give him a bit more credit. Yeah, he's doing all right in training. Yeah, he might get a few minutes. I don't think that's enough. Yes, this player he's young, but he's got real talent. I see these things in training. I want to hear that from. This is what I'd be encouraging. Even if he doesn't believe it, let us know out there that he's got this trust in these players, because if they're needed, they're going to really struggle in the first few games. And this is point about Conte, which people can say what they want about what I'm saying about him. He's still a top-class manager, but there are flaws in what he does. And this is one of them that I've seen, and I've seen it since the day that he started. He's got his favourites. Those who are not in his favourites,
Can I
if
just
you
say,
don't get in, I don't know. Sorry, Sid. I was ranting.
I was going to say, that first goal, we've pressed them into a mistake. Son's got the ball, right? He's looked around, and none of his players are around him. What happened? All the way back to the keeper, and then he came back out, and they score. So we've gone from pressing, great job, winning the ball back, and then realizing I can't bring this any further forward. We've gone all the way from their half back to our goalkeeper, back out, and they've scored. So that summed it up for me. And that this 3-5-2, that should have been, let's move forward. But instead, we all go all the way back. So
we also have to look at this comment from Good Beats as well. We have to take it and move on. It is a game that we can't change. We can't change the result. We can change the performance for the next game. Not to say we're going to get the result for the next game, but we can change the performance, certainly. And I would hope us being at home, even against a Newcastle side that is looking like, they are going to be in and around that top 6, even possibly in and around the top 4 challenging come the end of the season. At home, we have to make that place a fortress. That place, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, maybe it's going to be called the Google Stadium. At the moment, it's not. I wouldn't want to put my name against it based on that performance. But I would say that we have to now move on from the result. Conte's got to do something in terms of the personnel. If I see that same starting 11 come out again on Sunday,
I was just going to ask you that question, both of you. What changes is he going to make on Sunday? Because a lot of these players tonight that are knackered, leggy, are going to be starting on Sunday because he's got no options. He's got options
in midfield. I don't want to hear the options in midfield. He can change things around, even if he has to drop Højbjerg a bit deeper to make him play the role that Basuma's playing and maybe push him forward, or even bring Skip on. He can do that. I'm not having this about him. Yeah, the forward line, I can understand that. But even then, we still haven't seen Gil get more of an opportunity than he does. There's a little cameo. We're not seeing him. And he looked like he was really one of the players that wants to at least try to perform. They're not getting an opportunity. What's this doing for their confidence?
See, Son can't get any worse than what he's playing at this level. Why not bring Gil on? Because Hill's not going to play any worse than what Son's performing at this moment. So throw the dice, bring Hill on, and give him 25 minutes, give him 30 minutes. Because if Son ain't performing, you can't do any worse, or Hill can't come on and do any worse than what Son is doing. So give the kid a chance. But I know, Sean knows it ain't going to happen.
Sean, what do you think? Or do you think changes are likely to happen? Are we likely to see Conte roll the dice? I'm particularly looking at the wing backs realistically, because that's where our attacking threat has to come from. It has to come from the wing backs in the system that we play with 3 at the back.
Yeah, I would hope that he would have a punt at wing back on Sunday, but you don't. I mean, Conte's very stubborn, as we know, and he's as he told us memorably in Frankfurt, I don't pick a team to lose. Trouble is, he picked a team which lost terribly tonight. So the fans are the fans, and I'm the coach. And if you don't like it, you can lump it almost. But as I say, I'm looking forward to getting onto YouTube later and seeing how he explains away that lackluster performance. One of the big games of the season.
I really think he's gonna blame a lack of intensity from the players. We passed terribly, individual errors. Excuse me. But I also look at it as Manchester United played us. They tactically had us. After that first 20 minutes, they tactically knew what to do. And it wasn't a masterclass of tactics. It was up the tempo, don't allow them out, keep the pressing on, front foot. So even if they beat the first press, be brave, defenders, put on a front foot. If we leave the gaps in behind, so be it. But they also knew we only had one real speed merchant out there, which was Son. Think about it. Who else was going to break from deep? As we were talking about in the group, we were playing so deep that you could never see the midfielders catching up. Harry Kane, as much as he's quickened up his pace in the last year or so, he's not lightning. He's not a Marcus Rashford. This is the problem we've got.
Usain Bolt would have struggled to catch up with them today.
No, it was not very good. Or from midfield up front. The only, as we say, the only player who's emerged with any credit tonight is Lloris.
Yeah.
And how many times have people in the last few weeks been calling for Lloris to go? So it's too many players underperformed, and Conte did nothing to change it. So equal discredit, if you like, is on both of those.
Yeah, I like this from Colin. Colin, obviously, you went to the game tonight. I feel for you, son. I do feel for you if you went and watched that, because I wanted to go, but I'm glad. Like you said, I'm glad that they decided not to give me any tickets for that away performance. Because, boy, I would have been unhappy driving back from Manchester now. What's the point in 42 lanes for you not going to press? Hotspur was streets ahead of this Conte crap. We're reacting. This is a reaction show. By tomorrow, we'll maybe have a different thought process, but this is the reaction. This is what it does. So we're all going to have these
vibes.
Positive vibes is in the house. Didn't manage to get on the stream, lads, but just want to say it was a poor performance. We didn't press. We lacked quality, and the formation didn't work. Shocking, really. Sunday, here we go. Whatever formation you play, the intensity is not there. It won't work. Agreed. Didn't matter. I could said if we'd have scored the first goal, I don't think we'd have won that game based on how we were playing. Maybe goals change games is the old cliche, but I don't know. Not today. Oh, David, no excuse from Conte being Italian defenders. Defend one-on-one and don't need ultra protection. Let defenders defend. Mr. B, welcome from the Man United agenda. I expected to see more than just Mr. B, but he's in the house. Very good evening to you, gentlemen. I guess you're happy tonight, Mr. B, but your team played very well. I'm not going to knock that, but let's have a look at some of these bloody stats then. I don't know how it makes good reading, not so good reading. Let's share them. Get one bloody screen.
Did we have a shot on goal? Oh, yeah, we did too. That top one's wrong. Top one's wrong.
What do you mean? In possession-wise, you thinking?
Yeah. There's no way we had 48%. Where's that?
We did. We had a ball in that first 20 minutes. They didn't touch the ball once, Man United, really and truly.
Maybe you should have done the first 20 minutes and then the last 70 minutes.
I reckon we had about 80% possession in that first 20 minutes. They really did they let us play. And like I said, after that, it was a different game. And this is the big thing. As we talked about in the preview, chances created from Man United. They were always going to create a lot of chances tonight. I always thought that, but I thought defensively we would be better. 28 shots to our 9. Now, 10 on target to our 2. I think they had 18 in the first half, the most that they've had ever. I don't know.
The most they've had under Ten Hag.
Oh, dear me. 8 corners to our 3, 7 fouls each. Yeah, says a lot. What? Read anything more into that, gentlemen? Talk to me. Does that make any better reading, worse reading? Make you think about things? I don't know.
Shakira said hips don't lie. Well, in this case, stats don't lie, do they? And we can't argue with them stats. The fact that they've had 28 shots at home, which for a club at home, you expect that, but not against a team like us. I don't think we've managed 28 shots against any team in the Prem this season, but for them to do that against us just proves how poor we must have been today.
Dreadful stats to read, dreadful to look at, but sums up what was a very, very bad night. A very bad night. And as I always say, the only stat that really counts is the one at the top of the screen, and that says 2-0 to them.
No, before you meant PAXTON Raw TV one.
We've got to find somewhere laughing tonight. I've got to find somewhere, or else it's going to be more of this red wine Shiraz. I don't know. Colin, Gill done more in his little cameo in the last game than the whole team tonight. He tries to be his man. He tries. That's one of the things with him. He does try. He's a little bit lightweight. We know that. But give him an opportunity. Again, I saw a really small man in the butcher, that they call him, in Martinez. He made sure that he wasn't going to be bullied off the ball. It's about mentality as well. I look at, what's his name? He plays for Man City. Mahrez. He's not the biggest in the world. He looks like if he turns sideways, he disappears. But yet he still manages to be robust enough to let the guy have some game time, man. Even for cameo appearances. We brought Lucas on. Did he do anything? No. But he was brought on late as well. Didn't really have much of an opportunity to do much. The substitutions, Conte, we're winning. We're chasing the game. We were chasing the game after bloody 40-something minutes. They scored within 76 seconds. We were on the back foot from 76 seconds into the second half. And we never changed the way we were playing until 80 minutes. That's the manager. Sorry, that's the manager. Perhaps Lloyd, that's just commenting. I don't remember 9 shots. Maybe he's talking about shots at the bar. I don't know, Colin. It's madness, isn't it? It's madness. It's madness.
I feel for Colin having travelled all the way up there. Yeah, definitely.
Feel for you, man. I feel for you. I definitely feel for you. Right. We've got to get this out of us. As fans, we can't melt down. This is not a time to melt down. We have got another game, the good thing, in 4 days' time. It's not a time where we can dwell on this for too long. They have to prepare for the next game very soon. However, I don't want to see that same start 11. I don't. I really don't. I want to see changes for this Newcastle game. And I want to see more attacking intent in them wide areas if we're going to play this 3-5-2, because you have to have it. We never had enough of it tonight. We never had enough. What are you looking forward to? Or should I? Oh, I'm going to rephrase that. How do you think the game is going to progress on Sunday based on the result and performance tonight? How do you think this? How are the players going to react, Sid? Sorry, sure. I'll go to Sean first. How are the players going to react to this?
The players will be disappointed. There's no doubt about it. They didn't. They've not turned up tonight, and there's no sugarcoating it. Only Lloris, as he said, can hold his head up high. I don't know what, to be honest, until I see the team sheet at 3:30 on Sunday, I really don't know what's going to do. But it will certainly fill the media pages for the next few days. What is Conte going to do? Certainly the distraction of his contract, which has been in the press recently, will not go down very well, given that his job is to pick winning teams, and he didn't pick a winning team tonight. And a team that never looked like winning from 10 minutes in. I can't tell you what's going to happen at the weekend. Don't ask me to speculate. At the minute, I'm too in shock at what I saw for 90 minutes, 94 minutes, whatever it was tonight.
Colin's having a bad day. He's being beat these days, got a red quilt. So he's reminding me of the Old Trafford and obviously the Arsenal lot as well. That's terrible. You can't get away from the red tonight, mate, I'm afraid. But I hope it's just a red colour. I mean, it's not that bad a B&B that you have to check anything else on that quilt. Enough said. Sid, performance-wise, we cannot see a performance like that at home against Newcastle, because I think Newcastle are a team that they look like they're on the up. They really do. They've got confidence about them. They've got confidence in, as much as Eddie Howe has his detractors, as much as Eddie Howe has got people saying he's not at this, he's a very, very good tactician. He certainly knows how to put team out tactically. He's never usually had the players to be able to back that up. He's been at clubs like Bournemouth, so he's never had that sort of ability to have players. He's now getting that at Newcastle. And if I'm honest with you, I'm seeing tactical stuff from him. I like the way he talks about the game. Is this now going to be a case of tactics win this game on Sunday?
Listen, I watched, before our game, I was watching Newcastle and the way they play. I mean, they bullied Everton, which we didn't do as much, but they were bullying them. And once they got that first goal, they peppered them. And Almiron's goal, if you've not seen it yet, we'll have a look at that goal. What a goal. What I'm worried about on Sunday is Joel Linton and Guimaraes are going to bully us in that midfield. And Almiron is going to, if you're not going to look after him, he's going to cause us issues, because he's causing a lot of clubs issues. And our defenders are going to get a game, because Callum Wilson is going to be in their faces. Yeah, because that's the kind of guy he is. And Wilson always has a decent game against us. And I think it's going to be a very, very interesting game against Newcastle. I don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone's expected it to be, or
Well, that
whatever.
last one, we got 5 passing the last time, didn't we?
Yeah. Newcastle under Eddie Howe are a different outfit. I mean, Trippier, Botman, you know, you can name quite a lot of players on there. But I think it'll be a very interesting game. And I think this game, if it comes to tactics, problem we've got is we haven't got Kulu's not going to be there, Richarlison's not going to be there, so he's going to be sort of stuck to certain players he's going to have to play because he's got no other option. I personally would I'd give Sessegnon a run out at left wing back. I don't. Emerson Royal's not back yet, is it? This is his final game, right, on Sunday.
He's available for Sunday.
He's available.
He's available for Sunday. This was his third game.
I can see Emerson coming in then I can see Emerson coming in as right wing back.
Ugh.
And I think
Emerson's not back next week.
He's not, is he? This is
no. This is only his second. This is only his second league game that he's missed. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I thought as much. But I think
okay. Then. That's good. Sorry, he's good.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, I think they're going to be in quite early, and I think, well, I don't know if they're traveling back tonight or tomorrow morning, but I think Conte will want him back on the pitch, and I think he's going to have to sort it out. I don't think he'll go 3-5-2 on Sunday. I think he'll.
Comment from on Monday. Another one from the TMUA turning up as per usual to gloat. I don't mind that. That's all I'm wondering.
He's not gloating.
No, I'm not saying, but he didn't turn up to our streams usually, does he? So he must be gloating.
Yeah, but it's always in it, Sam. It's always the case. They're going to say that, aren't they? When they win, they'll come out.
He's got a good comment here. Would we have preferred to play 3 up top tonight? Had we had the personnel, I think we would have played even if Richarlison was fit, I think we'd have played the 3 up top. Because I don't think Conte really wants to play this 3-5-2. I think he's forced to play it. He doesn't want to play it, but because of the injuries that we had, he's almost forced into it. Richarlison not being available tonight forced his hand. I don't think he thinks Lucas is ready, and he definitely doesn't think Gil's ready, and nobody else is going to play on that wide area unless he was to play Perisic and then bring Sessegnon in, which he could have done. He could have ultimately done that. But I think a lot of people have seen, I don't think Perisic can play that many games in a row in the Premier League with this high intensity. I think you're right in that, Sid. I think he's going to find it tough. He's not getting younger. He's still a quality player, but it's the level of consistent performances at a high tempo, high energy that's going to catch him out, in my opinion.
And I think Kulu should be back on Sunday. Now, whether he starts or is on the bench will be interesting to see. But we need him to start, basically.
Final thoughts then, gentlemen. Final thoughts. I was just going to put this up before we go. It's just because I thought we'd do it anyway. It's the league table. Not that it means that much because, like I said, there's a few shakedowns to happen over the next few weeks. But it does mean we're still in 3rd place. We are 4 points off top. Them lots being there, having played 1 game more than them. Chelsea are now beginning to just inch in there. Obviously, Manchester United 10 games. Both of those 2 clubs have played 20 points and 19 points respectively. As I said, Newcastle now 11 games played, 18 points, 1 game lost. They've only lost 1 game. Yeah, we can look at the draws and think, but that means they're hard to beat, lads. It means they're hard to beat. And it's not going to be a game that we're just going to take it to Newcastle and beat them 5-1 like we did last time. Ain't happening. It's going to be a tough effing ask. Final thoughts, Sean?
Justifiably got nothing tonight. Need a change for Sunday, and let's see some change in personnel, maybe even a change in position. I'm not sure Kulu's ready to come back yet, but we'll see.
He might bring him back early, but I hope he doesn't. Conte's always said he doesn't bring players back early because he doesn't want to take the risk. But I think now he's going to have some real thinking about how he plays tactically on Sunday. Sid, final thoughts?
Mate, Mary J. Blige, innit? Broken heart again. Another lesson learned. No more pain.
We have to have a laugh at some point on this show. We do. Just going to get these last little comments here. Thanks, guys, on the panel. Big up, PAXTON. Well, thank you very much, Amondi. You deserved it tonight. Your team were the better team, definitely. And I'm not
by a country mile.
By a country.
Like you said already, I think they've beaten Arsenal, Liverpool, and now Tottenham at home. Yeah, 11 games in, and they've beaten the top 3 of the top, potentially top 4, top 6 clubs already. So, you know what? I'd be happy with that if I was a United fan.
Well, only thing
they'll slip up as well. You know, they're still capable of, you know, dreadful performances. You know, like we've seen in the Europa League and some league games. So, you know, we just have to take this one on the chin again and move on.
We have to hope that, you know, we can have dressing room harmony, because I looked at Ronaldo walking off tonight. That doesn't look like it's going to be a harmonious dressing room. But what I will say is Ten Hag has stayed strong throughout this. He's kind of buckled a little bit by saying certain things like, I should have brought Ronaldo on there, but he's not started him. I thought Ronaldo was almost a guaranteed starter tonight because of what he's done to us in the past and what you know he's capable of in big games. But he stuck to his guns and he got the best out of it because he won the game and comfortably. David Clark, more than 90% of his passes went straight.
Oh, don't go there. Look, Mora is never the answer to anything for Tottenham Hotspur. Not since Amsterdam.
We've had many a show about him, and like I said, bag of cement comes to mind when the ball bounces off him. Thanks, guys, from Lloyd. Lloyd, see you again on Sunday. Let's hope we have a bit more of a better reaction show. We're going to do the preview show. It's going to have to be Friday now. You know what? It's hard to do these preview shows now when you have a performance like that, because it's almost like you're having to hype yourself up thinking that you're going to play a certain way. We know how we're going to play now. I think the blueprint's set. It's just personnel. I'm looking at personnel. I don't think we're going to see suddenly a different style of Tottenham play, but we could see better performances, and we're just going to have to get through this one. Thought Sid was going to do a Pavarotti. Liverpool and Arsenal should have won those games, if you're honest.
No, not Liverpool. Liverpool were played off the park. Sorry.
Yeah. Arsenal maybe so, but Liverpool, they were a bag of spanners that day. Consistency is the key, guys. And Colin, get some sleep, man, on that red quilt of yours. I guess Ten Hag played glory, Tottenham Hotspur. I bet he had Blue Nose come in and just say he's like I said to you in the preview. He got Blue Nose into the change room before the game. It's only Tottenham, lads. That's what he did.
Listen, just tell Colin, mate, there's loads of places down Wimslow Road. Go and get yourself a curry. Wimslow Road is the capital of curry houses in Manchester.
Yeah,
you
curry
can't
mile,
go away.
yeah.
Trust me, Wimslow Road or Cheetham Hill. Just go down there. You'll be right.
Get yourself a good meal there, Colin.
Absolutely.
Not too hot a curry. Well, I wouldn't have too hot a curry this time of night, mate, but it's up to you. Sid, Sean, it's a pleasure as always. We have to do it, win, lose, or draw. Even when performances are like this, we still have to go through this bit of what's the word we're using? Therapy? Is it therapy? We'll see tomorrow. We'll see
that's what my mate Tom, my Tom said to me he on my WhatsApp here with Glasgow Spurs. He said that I'm going to listen in because I need the therapy, and we are therapeutic. Yeah,
I'm glad so. Let's just have a quick shout out to those who have watched us. Thank you for staying with us as always. Good beats, Lloyd Hughes out there, David Clark as always. Oh, David, that Leicester household must be laughing at you. I don't know why, because did Leicester play tonight?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, they're playing tomorrow, aren't they? Lee Flanagan in the house on Monday from TMUA. Who else is in there? Azzy, thank you for watching and supporting Kevin Murray. Colin, again, just get yourself down. Wimslow Road, get yourself a milder curry. Don't get too hot a curry because it's late in the night and we don't want you to have any accidents later on. That's it. I'm done now.
Positive vibe, Pav.
Positive vibe from Pav, man. She couldn't make it on there, but yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Dino Dinosaur as well. JC in the house. Tommy G in the house. Tom Lowry as well. Thank you, guys. And who has this new name for us? Silmerian Prince. Like that. Like that. Gotta go. I'm gonna get half a glass of red and chill out. Go sleep.
Red. Mine's gonna go and drink red.
Man's just gonna go and drink red, man.
Oh, for God's sake, you let the side down.
No, man's drinking red.
What? I'm a connoisseur, man. What?
The Reds have just beaten us, man, and you're going to go and drink red.
Claret, then. Claret. Should I say claret?
Bloody worse.
That's even worse.
We can't get like that just because. Oh dear,
Listen, we're in safe hands with Hugo. Let me just say that we're in safe hands with Hugo. So at least there's always a silver lining.
Always look on the bright side of life.
There's
on
always
to the next one.
On to the next one. That's it. Reaction. We've reacted tomorrow with a little bit of sleep and a little bit more thought going into it. Probably read a few of the comments and read a few of the press reports and, you know, go Football London and I Still Gold and all the rest of it. And we might have a bit of a different outlook, but I want to listen to Conte's press conference first to see what he says because I want to know what his reaction is going to be like. Is he going to be a bit more, well, the players didn't turn up, or is he going to get into him, or is he going to get into himself? I don't know. We'll see. That's it, gentlemen. Time to go. See you later.